Welcome back live inside Studio 10. You know, a lot of us have used fertilizer without giving it too much thought, but nowadays there's a much greater awareness about fertilizer, its benefits, and the need to manage its impacts as well.
Absolutely. Anyone with a lawn or growing vegetables and crops needs to know that there is a right way and a wrong way to use fertilizer. Joining us today are Richard Gent, Director of Community Affairs for CF Industries, Mary Hartney, President of the Florida Fertilizer and Agrichemical Association, and Keith Davis, Vice President of Florida Fertilizer. Welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning. First question, why is fertilizer so important?
Well, you know, we all like to eat. I think we just saw that on the last segment there. And Americans are very used to having high-quality food at very competitive prices. And so it's important. And the world is going to need more fertilizer going forward. There's estimates from the United Nations that we're going to need as much as 60% more fertilizer by the year 2030.
Yeah, our populations are definitely going up.
That's right. By 2050, we're going to be at 9 billion people on this planet Earth. And if you want to feed the people, you need to feed the crops. And if you're going to do that, you need to use fertilizer.
Sure. Well, now, Keith, what about the agriculture industry? Does the fertilizer industry work pretty closely with the agriculture industry, or are they just kind of two separate entities?
Oh, we're very close, very close. And a lot of changes have happened in the agricultural industry. In fact, as Richard will agree, fertilizer prices have escalated highly in the last 4 or 5 years, so growers are becoming more aware of that cost and managing their nutrient program accordingly. For instance, in the citrus industry, they have electronic eyes on their spreaders as they go through the groves. One tree will get, a big tree will get the big amount for what it needs, and the smaller trees will get the smaller amount. So
no kidding.
At the end of the day, they've used less fertilizer and has saved them money. And also they're using smaller amounts more frequently, so basically spoon feeding that tree to get it through the crop to give it nutrients throughout the year. And scientifically, we're taking more leaf samples to analyze what's in the plant to see if it needs more nutrients. And under university guidelines, if it's in the optimum range, say of phosphate, we don't need to apply any more phosphate. If it's deficient, we apply more nutrients to get that crop to market.
So, Mary, what is your specific message for people, or if they could take one thing away from this interview, what would you like the viewers to know?
Fertilize properly. We have a program. It's science-driven, research-derived. It's called the 4 R's for fertilizer stewardship, and that means using the right product at the right rate, at the right time, and in the right place. And I've got some tips from homeowners. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you want to buy the right product. And in Florida, that means buying a product that has 0 or a little number in the middle. It's N, P, and K. So look for a 26010, and that'll be the right kind of thing you need for your Florida turf grass.
What does that mean, 26010? What is that?
26010, and that's the amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium that's in the blend, in the bag. So Florida turf grass does not, in most cases, need extra phosphorus. So look for a 0 in the middle. That's the right product. So the right rate, follow the directions on the bag. Right place. Oh, so critical. Use a spreader with a deflector shield. That'll give you a crisp edge. Keep it off of your driveways, your sidewalks, and your roads. When it gets there, that's where you're going to pollute. Keep it out of the storm system. Keep it 3 feet away from any natural water body. And then the right time, apply it when your plants are growing. So you want to look in this area pretty much from springtime through to just about the early fall. And most important, 20% of your home's value is tied to your lawn, your landscape, the curb appeal.
Sure, yeah.
So when you do it right, you're protecting your community and your environment.
You're beautifying Florida.
Absolutely.
You know, there's been a lot of talk, or there has been some talk recently about counties and cities regulating the use of fertilizer. And I was thinking, well, what would prevent people from stocking up and then just using it whenever they wanted to anyway?
Well, that's actually one of the unintended consequences that can happen in that situation if there's a ban. Human nature is something that is difficult to change, and you know, people will try to figure their way around many systems, but I think the important thing here is education. You know, we really want to be able to educate people about how to do the right thing and to use the product responsibly. And so we really favor the approach of using education over regulation.
Sure. So what else should, or did you have a...
Well, you know, CF Industry, they play a big role in fertilizer as well. And I know one of the big things that we wanted to talk about was just for the economy as well, not only here in Tampa Bay, but, you know, reaching out into other communities.
Well, the fertilizer is a huge part of the local and regional economy. And the Port of Tampa, for instance, a lot of people drive by the port every day and they don't realize that the backbone of the port was basically the phosphate industry for years, and it's still an extremely important part of that. There's some, if you look at the numbers, over 9,000 direct jobs in the region are tied to the phosphate and fertilizer industry, and tremendous amount. I think it's about 67,000 jobs total in the region. So $5.8 billion in economic impact every year from the Port of Tampa. So it's very important. These are good jobs that already exist and are high-paying jobs, and we have a very vibrant industry.
There were some groups or some people that had expressed concern about maybe phosphate getting into the bay or something, but I believe, well, you know more about this than we do, but isn't it designed to where that can't happen, or it minimizes the impact?
There are a tremendous amount of engineering controls that go into basically managing our product and making sure that that doesn't happen. And actually, Tampa Bay, interestingly enough, is sort of the poster child for being the model ecosystem for managing phosphorus and nitrogen runoff. There have been a lot of groups like the Tampa Bay Estuary Program, which we're proud to be members of, which have done a great job in terms of managing phosphorus and nitrogen to protect the bay and the health of the bay.
Well, very nice. Well, if you'd like more information, just go to the web address on your screen, and we'll also hook you up through studio10.tv. Right fertilizer, right rate, right time, right place, the 4 R's, right?
That's right. You got it.
Oh, and you wanted to mention the book real quickly, too.
Fertilizer101.org can give you all the information that you were looking for today.
Richard,
thank you so much for the information, because it's very intimidating, especially for novice folks who want to maybe grow crops in their own backyard, how to fertilize and what's right. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Richard, Mary, and Keith, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Hey, stay tuned. Your chance to win Jonas Brothers tickets is coming up real soon. You guys like the Jonas Brothers? Yeah, see, they're going to stick around. Studio 10 will be right